seen your headline on The Daily Show. You see them all over YouTube. I want you to put your hands together. Put your hands together. Put your hands together. Give it up for Josh Johnson.
I do my best to be fair with people. I'm not perfect at it, but I try, you know. And sometimes the fairest thing you can do for a person is be honest with them. Like, so how many people do you know in your life who are suffering because the people around them let them live in delusion? You know what I mean? I've had to sit friends down and be like, listen, you're gonna have to date who like you. There's no way around it. So sometimes the nicest thing you can do for a person is be honest with them. And if I'm being honest, I feel like Donald Trump might be having one of the worst weeks of his life. This is very, very bad. I mean, this is oof. I've watched people have bad weeks. I've watched people have terrible weeks. There was a dude from my hometown that would ride his bike everywhere, and he got hit by a car and struck by lightning in the same week. He survived both, but wow. Because he was riding his bike, and you know, a lot of cities in the South we don't have enough sidewalk. We really abandoned the entire idea of someone might want to get somewhere in not a car. So he was riding his bike, but there's no sidewalk, and there's also no like bike lane where I grew up. And so there's just like, if you take the service road, it's just ditch and then ditch and then ditch and then ditch. And so then he over here BMXing the ditches going. But then when you do that, you do appear out of nowhere, because the ditch is deep enough where you know you ride, and then there's a little bit of road, then there's another ditch, and then you pick up another ditch, right? You know that's how you get there. But anyone making a left turn on the service road just sees someone on a bike coming truly out of nowhere and sends them flying, right? So he got hit by a car, and the car was turning, so this means it was slower than it could have been, and turned into him. He flipped over everything, bam, 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 landed in the ditch, so at least landed on some grass, right? And then he was all banged up, and then he had to walk the rest of the week until he get his bike fixed, until he healed up a little bit. He had to, walk around town. He was walking around town, and there was a thunderstorm. Which normally, here's the thing, this is like a big Southern tradition, right? Is that when it's lightning outside, nobody do anything. We turn off the TV. Turn off every appliance. Unplug it. Turn off everything. And don't move. I know you inside, don't move. That lightning see you moving from outside, it might want to come visit, all right? Don't move, stop. Be still where you are, unless you are moving to unplug something or turn something off. In fact, lay down on the ground so you can be grounded. And sometimes you'll tell people, like someone will like not be from the South, and they'll come over and it'll be a lightning storm, and you just start turning everything off, and they're like, what are you doing? And it's like, oh, okay, you can play with the Lord if you want to, but I like not being lit up, okay? I'm not even using this blender right now anyway. What point is there for this house to get struck by lightning and then the blender work real good for 6 seconds and then never work again? And so he was walking out in the thunderstorm, and to be fair to him, it was like, what was he supposed to do? I guess lay down. But like, what was he really supposed to do? So he's walking, making his way and everything, and up off ditch, and now he can watch for cars a little easier because he's on foot and stuff, ditch and everything. And then the lightning hit him, right? And it hit him. Okay, the way I never been hit by lightning before, but the way that it hit him, he did. This is what I'm told. I was not there, but the way the lightning hit him, he did bounce. And I don't know. I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know that could happen because it didn't seem like being struck by lightning was a buoyancy thing. But yeah, like he basically got hit by lightning, and then he didn't bounce high. It's not like he bounced like a basketball up, but he basically, lightning, boom, and then he went up a little, and then he hit the ground all hot. Charred. And then he had like a scar along the body and everything because struck by lightning and survived. I've never seen personally somebody get hit by lightning and then get up. I wouldn't. If I got struck by lightning, I'd be like, y'all, you know what? The Lord knows I need a nap. I'm gonna take a nap. Works in mysterious ways. Sometimes you just need to sit down somewhere. What makes you sit down anywhere like being struck by lightning? And so, he boom, boom, boom. And that was trying to get places next 2 days was very rough because he was already banged up from the car. And he was crispy. And he still wasn't having the week that Donald Trump is having. This is like... This is very bad. All right, in case you're not familiar, Donald Trump, the president was, like minding his business, trying to enjoy the government shutdown ending, right? Which should be, that should be a good day. It should, you shut down ended and everything. And so, he got signed the thing and he has everybody in the office and stuff. And the night before, looks like the House Dems released these 3 emails that were from Epstein's estate. So it's different. It's different from like if something was subpoenaed and stuff. It's not like something that was like sealed and then is being released. This, I think, works differently where it's just from the estate, right? And so then they release these 3 emails, and the 3 emails are not, they're not Epstein talking to Trump. They're Epstein talking about Trump. And on what should have been a good day. All right, the best way I could describe what happened is I went to a birthday party, and at this birthday party were a bunch of different friend groups. I shouldn't say a bunch, it's like 2 friend groups. But I don't know if you've ever had this in your life where you have this person who you're friends with who has a bunch of friends, and then you have this other person you're friends with who has a bunch of friends. But it's enough people in general, whether it's because of school or because of work or whatever, it's enough people in general that the people that know them, eventually there's an overlap of people who are friends with this person, but hate each other. They hate each other, or they hate the other friend, but they're part of this friend group, hate the other friend, right? So I was at one of those birthday parties. I was at a birthday party for someone, and the person who hated him the most came to the birthday party. They came because they were invited by our least thoughtful friend, and so having no awareness, least thoughtful friend invites them to the surprise party. And so then we're all like, hey, surprise. And they see this person. They were surprised. And then everybody's waiting for something to pop off and nothing ever did. Because they hate each other. Like, ooh, they hate. Is under. It's below the heart. It's behind and underneath. They hate from like the diaphragm, I think. They hate so much. They hate him. Anyway, so they hated the birthday boy a lot. Like, ooh, I wish I hate you. And so then they bring out the cake, and the cake got like one of the candles for every year, and they getting up there, so it's enough candles to light up a room. And put it down, birthday boy blows them all out. They cut up the cake. We're all chatting and everything in different rooms and stuff. And then the one that hate him, right, leans over to me, and he's like, before everybody, was like singing happy birthday and everything, before, they like brought out the cake and stuff. I farted in the cake. In my head, I was like, in? In just assumes a level of power that normally you'd say on, but whatever. And that is what the House Dems did to Trump on the day. It's supposed to be, it's not his birthday, but it's supposed to be a good day. And shutdown is ending. It's supposed to be good for, it's supposed to be good day. And so then you see in these emails, they're just not good at all. And it's not like, this is why I would be mad if I was Trump. Because it's not even Epstein talking to Trump, it's Epstein talking to somebody else about Trump, right? So it's the equivalent of like, you at home, and your friend did something, got caught, and then your friend comes to your house with the police. Your friend come to your house with the police and goes, hey, come on out, they got us. What do you mean us? I was at home. Because the email doesn't even like one of the main ones that was making the rounds on the news doesn't even like implicate Trump in anything. It just implies that Trump knows something that Epstein knows about what Epstein did that is very bad. That he hasn't told any authorities, but he knows is bad, right? Which doesn't look good. It's just one of those like, this is bad for everybody. Is what ooh. And I don't know how we got to this place, because Epstein saga has so many episodes. There is a Marvel universe of Epstein updates. It's never over, it just goes deeper. And then this is what the Dems do. Then the Republicans come out, and Republicans are like, all right, but why were the Dems sitting on these emails? Why are they releasing them now? That's pretty convenient, right? Like, why are you farting in his birthday cake? And then, I suppose, to try to show transparency, to try to be like, we're actually the party that wants to get to the bottom of the Epstein thing the most, the Republicans release 20,000 pages. 20,000 pages. I don't know if I've sent 20,000 emails in my life. 20,000 emails, these pages of Epstein talking about everything, talking about Trump, talking about Larry Summers, talking about it's so much. It's so much it makes you wonder, whoa. Why 20,000? It almost felt like they were like, you know what? Release 20,000. People don't read. They won't read it. It turns out people are pretty interested in reading. It turns out if it's an interesting enough novel, people will dive deep into the reading. Yeah. Because we're in a stressful time where it doesn't feel like things fully matter. There used to, back in the day, there was shame. So if you were in public office, if you were in public office and you did something, or somebody accused you of something, or sometimes it didn't even have to be anything. There was enough shame that you would resign, or you would retire from politics in shame, because we had shame. People had more shame, right? And I don't know, I'm not gonna blame all of it on social or influencer culture or anything like that, but we have more people than ever that we know about in our own little pockets, right? We have more people than ever that are involved in scandals. It used to be if you were in a scandal, you were either a politician or a Hollywood celebrity. Those were really the only people who could even get into a scandal. But now you could just be an influencer, and even more specific, you could be a makeup influencer, and you get into a scandal that only affects the people who watch you, right? And so now we're watching more people than ever try to navigate having a scandal, which has also made scandals more normal. And so now, instead of looking to how we would all expect someone in a scandal to react, we look at how the person reacts. So you go back in time, all Nixon did was listen to some tapes. When you really sum it up, it's yes, the spying and the blah, blah, blah. But it's Nixon himself, just Nixon, listened to a garbled tape that was of no consequence, really. It was that man resigned over. And I know he did plenty other stuff besides. I'm just saying, the thing that when we think of Watergate, when people even really think about what Watergate is or what it meant to people, it was the scandal of the government spying and how the opposition treats each other and everything like that. But when you really look at Nixon, I'm not taking up for Nixon at all. I'm literally just saying that when I watched the documentary, it sounded like he resigned over. And he left. And now there's a scam. There's something happening. And obviously everybody puts it on Trump specifically, and he is our version of it, but it was happening all around the West before this. It was bubbling up. Everything does not revolve around this man. There was something that was happening in lots of different places where politicians were realizing how much they could stress test the trust of the general public, right? You even look at Canada with Rob Ford. Rob Ford was the mayor of Toronto. and Rob Ford smoked crack on camera. This man did just smoke crack on camera. He smoked more crack than I've ever seen anybody smoke on camera. He smoked crack on camera so many times that I think he is the most crack smoke taped person of all time. Lots of crack. And he'd get drunk too. And it would be like, who set up the camera? I guess Rob Ford. Like he just... It was scandal after scandal after scandal. It was stuff he would say. It was videos that would come out. It was stuff that he would say. It was videos that come out. It would just be over and over and over again. He wasn't like turning some new leaf. He was just one of the first people that when they came to him, they were like, were you smoking crack? And he was like, I was not smoking crack. Then in the next video it came out, he's like, oh, it's delicious. Like it, I can't tell you how much crack he was smoking. And just never seen somebody smoke crack like it was candy, right? And like, This is okay. Look, maybe this may be wrong with me, but when I was watching the documentary about him smoking the crack and stuff like that, before they revealed that there were tons of crack tapes, like a ridiculous amount of crack tapes. I don't know if anybody watched all the crack tapes. He has that many, right? But before they revealed that he actually did smoke crack, when he was denied smoking the crack, I was like, I don't know if this dude did this. Like, sure, he's like brash, and sure, he's like, you know, this like wild character. I definitely believe he was getting drunk, and they even showed a video of him drunk. I didn't believe the crack because I had never seen. Do you know what I mean? I had just never seen such a heavy set crackhead. You know what I mean? Like he would. I'm just saying, like, he had that plausible deniability from me, because every crackhead I'd ever seen was petite. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all right, fine, whatever. Some of y'all being weird, but you know you've never seen somebody smoke crack and have a cheeseburger. That is not something that happens within the same 5 minutes. No one has crack for dessert. And he was one of the first people. Like, he was actually a little bit pre-Trump, right? People forget about him, but he was. And they came to him, and they were like, aren't you going to resign in shame? And he was like, I don't even really feel any shame. No, I think I'm good. I think I'm just going to stay. And we still, as a people, in every country this happens in, don't know what to do with that. We don't. We, like, that happens, and we're like, oh, I thought you would have some shame. And Rob was like, no, I don't have any shame. I have crack, and it's delicious. Truly, when I tell you, sometimes I can even feel the shame creeping up, but like, shame and crack never meet. They're never in the same room together. So if you feel any of that shame creeping in and you hit a little crack, shame seems to disappear. You know? Because now you even look at like, with like influencer culture, there used to be this thing, like let's take it all the way back, right? Let's take it all the way back to maybe like the 80s or 90s, where if a tape came out of you in some sort of lewd act, it was immediately shameful. It was like immediately the thought process around it. I'm not even saying whether or not that's right. I'm saying that's what people did. Okay? And now you fast forward to today, and something will leak. Maybe someone's nudes leak, maybe a video of them leaks, and then we wait for the person to react to know if we feel shame for them. Or if we try to shame them. It's all based off their reaction. We look to them to know what to do next. So if something happens, if a tape goes out, if some nudes leak or something like that, and the person's like, oh, yeah, that's what I look like. We're like, oh, okay, all right, wow. And not across the board, I'm just saying that becomes the sort of general understanding. But then if that person's reaction is, oh no, you saw me naked. We'll be like, oh, we did. Shame. And so then these 20,000 pages come out, and Wow. Also, not good. Not good at all. Because it's not just Epstein implicating Trump in like other meetings, other times they hung out, other things, other. It's also like Epstein talking real nasty and bad about Trump. Now this is, look, some of it is before their breakup, and then some of it is after. And there have been plenty of people that said, hey, listen, this guy who is no longer friends with Trump, talking bad about Trump after they're not friends anymore, what's that supposed to mean? You know what I mean? Why should that even matter? And it's like, look, I understand where you're coming from, but if he's talking about anything that happened while they were still friends, while they hung out to somebody, that does mean something. That does matter, you know? And he was talking wild about Trump, even saying stuff like, I'm the only one that could bring him down with the stuff I know and everything. And look, this is just me. Just me, all right? I'm not friends with Epstein, glad I wasn't, okay? But I'm just saying, if it was me and Epstein was talking this reckless about me over email with all these people, I'd probably be very upset. I'd get very mad. I'd probably get mad enough to kill him in his cell. I'm not saying that is what happened. I'm saying that's what I might do. Me. I'm saying that's what I might do, but I'm petty. You know? I didn't let you stay in my house and everything. You talking crazy about me in these emails. No. You gotta go. There's gonna be a missing minute in the video. Because that's also what's wild. That's where we left off, you know? Remember where we left off, where there was they released the video and it was hours long and it was missing the most important minute it could miss? Yeah. Remember when there were like no files? Remember when Pam Bondi was like, look, there's no files. Don't listen to your memory. I know what I said before, but what I'm saying now is more important. There's no files. Isn't it more convincing that there's no files than there's files? And we were all like, what is she talking about? It's bad. It's bad. You know what's so crazy to me? You know what's so crazy to me about a lot of this stuff is that this is Trump we're talking about. Trump was on trial in New York for like, I don't know, some like real estate fraud or whatever. And this dude, it wasn't looking good. It was looking like he might, get found guilty. And the judge had to give him a bunch of warnings. The judge is over here like, you need to stop talking about this case to the media. You need to stop talking about me to the media. Stop. I don't know what else he was doing. Like, stop doxing the stenographer. What? Like, stop. Just stop. You talking too much. Nobody that's a defendant in any of my other cases I oversee talks as much as you to the media about this case. You gotta stop. And then Trump for his part, Trump, even to his credit, I'd say, was like in danger of being held in contempt almost the entirety of the case. And the judge like, I'm gonna hold you in contempt. I'm gonna do it. And Trump was like, do it. No, do it. I want to be in contempt. I bet you won't do it. And then he would tell him, don't go out there and talk to the media about this case. And then Trump would walk up to the first person with a camera he saw. It could be a camera phone. He'd just walk up. And he was like, judge doesn't know what he's doing. He crooked. Everybody crooked. I'm going to win in 2020. But just nonstop. You got to remember, that's the guy that we're talking about. But that's not how he's acting about this. Which means it must be bad. This dude was in court and wasn't scared. But this man, they reached out to all of these Republicans to try to help stop this petition, right? There's this petition to release the Epstein files in the House, and that petition has to go to the Senate. And the petition, but he's trying to get it stopped. He's trying to get it killed, like now. Want it killed now, right? Gotta kill it. And so he's reaching out to people who have even been vocal about the fact that they will be on board with signing the petition. Reaches out to like Nancy Mace, Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is the thing. Look, at the end of the day, maybe he did reach out because he just wanted to talk to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Maybe, you know what I mean? I'll be honest with you. If you could put all politics aside in your mind and you hop on the phone with Marjorie Taylor Greene, it will be interesting. You know what I mean? You'll be like, I didn't know about the lasers, Marjorie. If I was ever on the phone with Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know what I would do to keep her on the phone? I would every couple sentences I'd just go, oh! Let her think she was blowing my mind. Throw in a really every now and again. Calls Marjorie Taylor Greene. Apparently none of them are having it. Apparently. Lauren Boebert even was pressured so much to not sign a petition, she was like, it must be worse than I thought. Y'all barely talk to me. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she didn't put her foot down. Marjorie Taylor Greene has actually really turned on Trump so much that it got Trump's attention so much that Trump has turned on Marjorie Taylor Greene, and they're beefing right now, which is hilarious. That is so funny. The idea that Trump is over here being like, y'all know Marjorie Taylor, he's over here calling her a lunatic, calling her crazy, all this stuff like that. The fact that Trump is over here like, Marjorie Taylor Greene crazy, and we're like, we know. That's wild for... What other revelations you got? Did you know Hannibal Lecter wasn't a good guy? I'll tell you as well why Trump's not having a good week. You know, there's been interviews, and there's just been a general discontent with some of what's happening in the country. You know, Trump ran on America First. It's supposed to be Americans first. It's supposed to be America first. But what is happening? And what place is America in? It doesn't seem like there's a one in front of it. You know? Because people point to, how ruthless in the shutdown things got with SNAP, how people are treated, in the country, how America First just sort of feels like a slogan. It doesn't feel like it's really in the agenda. It doesn't feel like what's really happening and everything. And so then you see members of the MAGA movement turning on Trump. And maybe not fully and maybe not forever, but it is like happening. There's this swell of discontent with what he's been doing, how the country is right now. There were so many things that are supposed to be fixed on day one. You can talk as much as you want. He's very good at campaigning. He's not good at governing. Like he's so good at campaigning because campaigning is before you have to. All right. One of the roughest drawbacks with dating, right, is that someone's getting to know you. They don't know you yet, and you can put your best foot forward. You can even try to be the person you're pretending to be, but they're getting to know you, right? And the thing is that early phase where they're getting to know you, the good stuff that happens can also hurt you in the long run. Okay, like my buddy, all right. They had like a fun little, we're gonna cook for our first date, right? I'm gonna go take a little cooking class. And so they go to this cooking class, and there was this jar, and she couldn't open the jar. She was trying with the jar. Trying with the jar. And you can even tell that she was kind of loosening it, but finally she handed it to him, and he goes, immediately, right? Which is great. You did it. But now, you gotta be strong enough to open jars. It looked like that's what you do. No. Ooh, we gotta watch out. Some of the stuff that happens that first time, you in trouble, man. You in trouble if it's the first 3 dates and y'all get into something scary happens. Maybe somebody even tries to mug you or something like that, and you win the fight. Oh, I hope you weren't just lucky. I hope you weren't just lucky, because now my man fight, all right? She gonna tell everybody her man fights. She might even start a couple fights for you. Oh, you want my man to come over here and handle you? In the back of your head, you're like, look, the mugger slipped in a puddle. I mean, I just grabbed the purse back. That's all I did. And like dating to being in a relationship is like what campaigning is to governing. It's wild even to watch some people's reactions. There are some people who have some truly insane and disgusting reactions, or just reactions that are meant to confuse. There are so many people that are like, why didn't the Dems release all this stuff years ago when Biden was president? And it's like, all right, this is the way that records work. There are some things that you could just release outright, like things that maybe you get from an estate or something like that. But then there are things that are part of an investigation, which as long as that investigation is going on, as long as that court case is going on, you can't just release those things to the public. Now that some of these things have been set to rest now, like, you know, obviously like Ghislaine is in jail and everything. And then there are other parts of documents that get redacted, either because they're part of a potential ongoing investigation, or it's to protect the name of a survivor of the abuse or something like that. There's all these different reasons that you could have for when you release things on whatever schedule. But even when people make that sort of argument, I'm like, wait, I can't tell. Are you mad that they are released? Like, what? I don't even know what that's meant to accomplish. Why didn't the Dems release it sooner? It's like, all right, it's out now. Isn't that what we're talking about? That's insane. That type of logic would never hold up in like court. You'd never be able to go to court with like, look, if the police care so much, why didn't they catch me sooner? Y'all over here acting like you care. I did it a long time ago. You didn't try that hard to find me. Oh. You see so much of this stuff happening, and you're like, wow, every day you try to move on. Every time you try to move on, it gets worse. 20,000. And 20,003 emails. And I don't know what's gonna happen, because if I'm being honest, like truly being honest with you right now, I know that one of the reasons that Trump is trying to get them to stop in the House from all signing the petition is because then it goes to the Senate, and then if enough people have turned on him in the Senate, it then goes to the president, and he is the president, which means he would have to, and We stopped electing people with integrity a long time ago. So like I don't expect, like truly, I don't expect Trump to sign something that is basically dry snitching on himself. I don't think that would happen.
Dry humping.
Dry humping. But I will say this, I think that there's a very slim chance that it's like Trump's gonna go to jail, or that this will be enough for everyone to turn on him and then just kick him out of office or anything. This is one of those things that is very bad. It's a very bad look. He's panicked about it. People are speculating why he's panicked about it, but it's not the thing that's gonna make him sort of like Nixon up out of here.
No.
I'm just being honest with you. And I think that it's easy to forget in all of these different chapters and all of these like extra extensions to the saga that is the sort of Epstein files, that there are real people. There are survivors of Epstein, there are survivors of Ghislaine, that are survivors of all of this abuse and trauma that deserve justice. And the thing that we can do, the thing that we just personally can do, is keep that in mind and hold the people that represent us to account. Let them know that we'll be looking at them for what they do consistently, that we'll be bringing it up, that we won't let it go away. It won't be over just because it falls out of the news cycle. It will not go away. It won't be over. And I think the only thing that we can do as individuals, but collectively together, is just keep farting in his cake as often as possible. Chattanooga, y'all been fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Give it up for Josh Johnson.
I've been loving getting to watch in real time the indictment of New York Mayor Eric Adams. This dude sucks so much. It's so bad. This dude sucks. I don't know who your mayor is, but be glad it's not Eric Adams. This dude is the worst. He's so corrupt. And it's like corruption. This is what's disappointing about Eric Adams' corruption, is that it's like petty. Do you know what I mean? We expect politics to be corrupt. It says a lot that we do, but a part of us, do you know what I mean? And what does that say about us to a certain degree? I think about that a lot. What does that say about our expectations, that we expect corruption? You know what I mean? At lots of levels, you know? City councilman did this thing, president did this thing, whatever it is, we expect it. And then when people run, we don't really believe in them. Maybe if someone can make us believe in them along the way, that's the person that we vote for, because we're like, wow, this person's different. But different from what? The expectation is corruption, you know? And he's corrupt in a way that's truly disappointing. It's a shame. It's embarrassing how easy a politician is to buy. You could lease a new Subaru, or you could buy a politician depending on the position of the state. The things these people go down for, we're talking not money if we're talking politics, right? Like if I was a senator and I wanted to be corrupt, you'd have to get me good. You have to take care of me, because I might lose my job. I might go to jail. I need a nest egg to protect me. You know, something to look forward to while I'm in jail doing all that time for doing you a favor and being corrupt. Like, that's why I don't agree with it, and I'm glad he's going down for it, but Menendez makes sense. He took gold bars. That's cartoonish corruption. That is like full on 1950s cartoon corruption. That is New Yorker political cartoon corruption. To just take actual gold bars. Where do you get gold bars from? And then take the gold bars to do the favor for the person. This is what's funny about Eric Adams being indicted is that New York City is, and this is coming from someone who lives there, and I do love it in New York, right? But New York is a dirty place, all right? Inside and out, okay? It's one of the more corrupt places. So to be the first mayor to ever be indicted with corruption charges in New York City, you gotta be one of the dumbest people who has ever lived. It's a city of corruption and you got caught. That's crazy. Sometimes I can't believe it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he couldn't believe it. He was like, y'all, this is what we do. How y'all gonna get mad now? I did the regular amount of corruption. I didn't even go overboard. I got some flights upgraded. Why would y'all? No, it is that dumb. This dude, Eric Adams' corruption is so petty. This dude about to go to jail because he let Turkey upgrade some flights for him. He basically is gonna go to jail for what is Delta Gold Medallion. Like, it's just... It's very petty. Some nice meals, some flights. That's great. That our mayor, New York's mayor, all it took to buy him was just treat him like a bad bitch for a night. Like, it's... Do you know how embarrassing that is? Do you know how much money is in New York? I need at least 6 skyscrapers to be as corrupt as Eric Adams. I'd be like, take care of me. No, I need land. What are you talking about, a flight? A flight where I might fall asleep and miss my corruption? No. Because sometimes you get upgraded by your airline, you get all excited, you like, oh, I'm sitting in, got the extra leg room and everything. I can kick for no reason and stuff. And then you wake up at the destination and you're like, dang, I didn't even enjoy the free glass of champagne and orange juice. That's his level of corruption. It's so dumb. He sucks. But Eric Adams started as a cop, right? And I actually watched this video of him. It was a very entertaining watch. Basically, when he was a cop, he did a video. Maybe he was still a cop. I don't know. Maybe he had retired. But anyway, he used his police expertise to make the video. And it's basically a video where he shows parents how to search their children's rooms for drugs and guns, right? And the thing that's amazing about it is that clearly one of two things happened. Either Eric Adams told whoever was shooting the video to just go fill a room full of crack, or Eric Adams kept using the same 6 crack rocks in between takes. Because he was pulling crack out of places that didn't really make any sense. Like those... When you have crack, the intention is to smoke it or sell it. And where he was pulling, because then, first of all, the room didn't make sense. Because the room is supposed to be a child's room, right? But the room has stuff for a kid that's about to head off to college or somebody in preschool. Like, there's just too much going on in the room. The room makes sense if you were never gonna leave that room for 26 years. Like, it doesn't... The room did not make sense at all. So then Eric Adams would do weird stuff like he'd be like, looks like a regular tricycle, right? But if you pop this tire right quick, you pop this tire, pull it out, what do we find? Crack cocaine. It was incredible. Like, looks like a regular doll, huh? But if you stab it in the back and rip it open, what do we find? Crack cocaine. And honestly, like, look, I even get the spirit behind what he's doing, but if your child is on crack, there will be other signs. Besides a heavy tricycle wheel. I've never seen a kid on a bike with a flat tire and been like, we're losing the youth. It's insane. This dude is over here going, a simple jewelry box. But if we open it, what do we find? A loaded gun. A pillow? You gave your child a pillow? And thought that they weren't gonna do the worst with it? You reach in that pillowcase, what do you find? A Glock. My favorite was standing near a bookcase. And he didn't say these words exactly, but the feeling that I got when I was watching him was just, you think your child reads? You think your little baby boy, baby girl reading in here? No. They're a child, and we all know children are what? Crackheads. You open this book, and what do you find? What spills out? Crack cocaine. No, it was incredible. It was truly, the only thing he did do was pull crack out of the gun. Like, but, and I can't stress this enough, Eric Adams is like terrible. He really is, like, he really is, he's the worst. It's so bad. He sucks. He sucks so much. You should be so glad he's not your mayor. Like, that's... Oh, man. I'll be honest with you. I didn't do the research. I don't know who your mayor is. I just know it's not Eric Adams. So you got 2 legs up on New York City. This dude, first of all, when he was running, he was corrupt. The dude was running, and he was already doing stuff where we were like, if it's not illegal, it's weird. This dude told the story of, because, he's a cop, and he reminds everybody all the time they used to be a cop, right? And it depends, because he does a thing that's real sneaky. He's really good at it, right? Where he was a black cop. So in some rooms, he's black. In some rooms, I used to be a cop. And never the 2 rooms shall meet. If like... It's crazy. Okay, so this dude, when he was running, would tell the story of a fallen officer, right? his friend that he loved dearly, who died in the line of duty, and he loved his friend so much that he keeps a picture of him in his wallet with him all the time, right? And it's a heartwarming story because no matter your feelings on cops, no matter your feelings on like the criminal justice system, I think everyone can understand what it's like to lose a friend, right? You can understand what it's like to lose, especially when you lose a friend when you're both in danger. Maybe you both were in the military together. Maybe you're both cops. Maybe you served in some way and then you lost your friend. And no one's going to know what that was like except for people who it also happened to, right? And he kept the picture in his wallet. Except the picture in his wallet that he showed people was printed out by his staff members, and they threw a little coffee on it to make it look old. And that's before he did anything illegal. This dude is the devil. Like, he really sucks. This dude, I don't even know how he won. He doesn't live in New York. You know how usually you have to live where you're the mayor of? I'm not gonna make any assumptions about your mayor, but I'm assuming they live here. I imagine your mayor doesn't actually live in Illinois. That would be weird, right? To come over and be like, hey, I'm here with y'all. We're in this together. I'ma go, though. Dude lived in Jersey. And then it got outed that he lived in Jersey. And so at the last second, he had the New York Times try to help him cover it. And they did a profile of him at his house in Brooklyn that he was clearly walking into for the first time. This dude walked in. You could tell he had never been in there before. He over here like, and as you can see, my wall. If you don't have one, you gotta get one. All right, these walls are fire. This dude walked in, and clearly, whatever staff was trying to help him look like he lived there, I feel like they tried to like Ocean's 11 it and like did it a little too late because they were clearly moving stuff into the place to make it look furnished. But then he probably called them and told like, hey, I'm on the way now. Y'all got to get out because the apartment did not make sense. You walk in and in the living room is the bed. That's an intern who had to drop the bed like as they like, what? And then, you know, they go, he opens the fridge because he really tried to do this MTV Cribs for the New York Times, right? And so then he opens the fridge and he's like, blat out my snacks, right? And there is way too much meat for Adams to be a vegan. There's so much meat. It looked like it was stocked by Hillshire Farms. There's way too much meat in there. Not even mistakable meat. Not even like, oh, I thought the Impossible Burger. Like, it was full-on meat. And when they ask him about it, he's like, oh, my son be sneaking in, you know what I mean? You know, because you know how when you have kids, you know, as parents, you know how when you have kids, they sneak into your home and leave food, you know what I mean? In the fridge uneaten. You know how children are. All they do is leave food in the fridge and smoke crack. That's what children do. This dude is the worst. This man brought back stop and frisk.
If you don't know what stop and frisk is, it was practice in New York where basically the police could stop you at any time and frisk you, check you for drugs and weapons and stuff like that. It was very popular under like Giuliani and stuff, but it was like found to be pretty disproportionate because they would just stay in one place and check everybody there. You know? So it was just black and brown people. It was mostly black and Hispanic people that were like stopped and frisked. And it didn't even really work because the people with guns and drugs were like, I'll stay home. You know? They found when they did studies on it that, you know, more often than not, it was men, over 9% men. So it's like 99.3% men of the stop and frisk. And then also in the 90s were black and brown people. So it was like, I think like 5% white, right? Which is just go all over New York. You're allowed to stop and frisk. Just stop and frisk everywhere. Just do the Upper West Side. Do you know what I mean? Just be like, hey, what's in the briefcase though? That could be full of anything. But they didn't, so it was found to be like an unconstitutional practice. It was found unconstitutional in 2013, and the New York police like disbanded it fully in 2020, and then Eric Adams brought it back. Which is odd, because this is my thing about Eric Adams, and what I mean about that chameleon move that he does is that Eric Adams, I don't even know the exact particulars of the story. All I know is that he was arrested when he was a kid. Some people say he was a member of a gang himself, right? And that he, got beat up by the police. He tells this story of being a victim of police brutality at like 14, 15. Him and his friend got caught. They had done two things. I think they had stolen some checks or something, and they stole something else, and it was when they were trying to cash the stolen check they got caught, and basically they got beat up at the police station. And apparently the way that I believe Eric tells it is that these white cops were beating him and his friend up, and then a black cop came in and told him to stop. And he was like, and that was the moment I decided that I wanted to be a police officer, turn my life around, everything, because I just saw the way that black cop moved, right? He's like, I saw the power, the respect, I saw the fear that people had, you know, and I was like, okay. It's a weird thing to pull from that lesson, but all right. We're all our own people. And so it's weird to me that he's so adamant about being punitive as someone who grew up the way that he grew up. It's very odd that he doesn't see himself in any of the youth that he wants to arrest or wants to punish. Like that's even only part of why he sucks. Like, he sucks. This dude sucks so much. He's the worst. They opened the investigation into Eric Adams the way that the feds do, which is quietly. You know what I mean? The thing that's scary about the feds is that they always get you. Their conviction rate is in the 90s. So it's basically done. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, when they show up, it's only a matter of time, right? And the feds opened an investigation into them, and this is like a year ago, that they came through and they were like, hey, we're gonna need everybody's cell phone. Your whole team, right? Which is already not great. Probably every mean thing I've ever said is on my cell phone. Do you know what I mean? Like, I try to be a good person, but if you pull up on me and you snatch my cell phone, you're gonna be like, oh, you an asshole, okay. The cell phone feels safe. You know, and the feds roll up and, take his laptop, his cell phone, everything. And this is how you know, this is how a guilty dude moves, right? So he goes ahead and gets swooped on when the feds come and get everybody's cell phone, and he's like, "Oh, actually, my cell phone, I don't have it on me, right? I don't have it." And they were like, "Okay, we'll bring it first thing tomorrow." And he brings it. Next day, brings it, right? And then he's like, "Actually, I had changed my password to keep my aides out of my phone, because you know how aides are, always trying to face ID you and see what your business is and everything, even though you email them personally and stuff. But like, try to keep my aides out of my phone." So went ahead and I'm giving it to you now, but just know that I had to change the password, keep my aides out of my phone, and I just forgot it. This dude moves like a man who cheats. Like, that's crazy. And the feds basically had so much on them that they were like, "Oh, we don't need your phone. Because we have every other phone that you text." Ooh. There's even instances of Adam's aides knowing things were illegal and then being like, "Y'all, this is illegal." They said it in the text, but "Y'all, this is illegal. I don't think he'll want to do it." And then you know that text bubble? He'd be like, "Hey, this is illegal. I don't know if he'll want to do it." And then the person from Turkey or wherever would be like, "Are you sure?" And then the text bubble. That bubble be cooking, right? That bubble be bubbling up, right? And then it go away for a second. And then it come back and be like, "Never mind, he's down." The amount of times that his aide said to other people, "This is illegal." And then several texts later be like, "So when are we?" It was incredible, man. It's really fascinating. And then there was like, I think it was like one of his campaign aides, one of the people that worked under him, was being interrogated. And as soon as she realized the interrogation wasn't friendly, she was like, "Can I go to the bathroom real quick?" And so they were like, "Yeah, sure." And then she went to the bathroom and apparently started mass deleting as many text messages as she could. But then she was in there so long that the fans were like, "She deleted text messages. Like, nobody got a boo-boo that bad." Like, I mean, who knows? Maybe she is shitting herself, but not. I can just imagine you realize your boss about to go to jail, you might go to jail too, and now you in the bathroom just, "I'll be right out. Oh, it's bad. Oh no. Y'all still there?" I can't stress this enough. This dude sucks. Like, it's like, okay. Maybe one of the funniest things about the whole case is that we don't definitively know one way or the other, but there's a chance that this dude, like the last straw that broke everything, that had the roof come tumbling down, that kicked over his house of cards, might have been, maybe, Sabrina Carpenter. Inadvertently. I don't know if you remember, but Sabrina Carpenter did a music video for a song called Feather, right? And in that music video, she's in a church, right? And she got permission to be in that church. As controversial as everything was, and as much as the archdiocese freaked out after they saw the video and as upset as people were, she got permission, right? She did the right thing, and she asked, "Can I do my video here? She didn't just run in and be like, "Quick." She did everything by the book. Right? And the person that allowed her was a Monsignor, right? This Monsignor gave permission to shoot in the church and everything. And then when the video comes out, obviously the archdiocese is all upset and stuff. They're like, nothing provocative or sexual should be in a church. That's what they said. Don't get weird with me. And so then they demoted the Monsignor. That's how mad they were, you know? They didn't fire him because I guess it's impossible to get fired at a church. You know, anybody else, any other job, they would have been like, you gotta go. But Catholic Church, they're like, no, we'll move you, don't worry. And basically, one of the things that came from that whole thing, especially how public it was the feds subpoenaed the archdiocese over the Monsignor because he had connections, like as in a relationship or maybe even a business relationship with Eric Adams' chief of staff, right? And so they were like looking into it, and then Sabrina Carpenter's moved on. She just sort of like, oh, I didn't realize it. Whoops. And I don't know. I think that people don't realize how much trouble Eric Adams is in because this isn't like a police thing. This isn't like a local police or something. Like local police could run cover for a mayor. And so Eric Adams gets indicted, right? Present day, he gets indicted, and this dude holds a press conference. It's one of the worst press conferences I've ever watched in my entire life. This is incredible. People talk about Giuliani and everything when he did that 4 seasons press conference and stuff like that. Not gonna lie, this one put that one to shame, okay? This one was really, but first of all, they decided to do it outside. I don't really know why, but maybe he's not allowed in buildings. I have no idea, but they decided to do it outside, and they had a tent up because it was raining. But Eric Adams and he does this a lot. He does this in a way, this is one of the reasons I can't stand Eric Adams. This is one of the things that makes him suck, right? Is that whenever he's in trouble, whenever he needs something, he's very, very black. You know, and so now that he's in trouble, he has gathered around him every black person that will stand next to him, I suppose. And so he had everybody. He had so many people that they couldn't all fit under the tent. So now there are some people getting rained on halfway, just trying to lean in and everything. Do the one-sided thing. And the press conference starts, and there's protesters at the press conference. And, you know, Adams did some weird stuff. Like when he got indicted, he did like a message to New Yorkers and everything. And in the message, he says, like, I knew as soon as I stood up for New York, I would become a target. And then we were like, when did you stand up and who is targeting you? Like, this is odd. I've heard this language before, but I've never seen it make less sense since the last time I heard it. You know? And finally, you know, he goes ahead, he's doing press conference and stuff, and there's protesters there. And the protesters are screaming at him. They're like, you're an embarrassment. Don't try to act black now. You brought back stop and frisk. You brought back every policy that came down hard on the black community, but now you want to be black because you're in trouble and you want us to back you up and everything. And they're yelling. And the whole time, Eric Adams is like, You ever been at a restaurant and there's a couple trying not to fight? And then finally, one of them can't take it anymore, and she stands up, and she's like, you cheating bastard, or whatever, and then he's like, It was that. And so he just stands like, okay. And then he lets people speak for him, right? So his pastor speaks, and his other pastor speaks, and I think another pastor speaks. You go to extra church when you're in trouble, right? So then pastor after pastor after pastor are speaking, right? And all the pastors are like, hey, listen, we don't even know. Everybody has to have their day in court. Like, no one is actually professing this dude's innocence. Everybody's like, yeah, you can't judge lest ye be judged. And once again, remember, I told you it's one of the worst press conferences I've ever seen, because not only can not everybody fit under the tent, and not only are the people not making a convincing argument for Adams to be innocent, which is what we would very much like our elected official to be, right? This one lady gets up there, and she's been the loudest against the other protest. She's like, shut up, let him speak, blah, 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 right? And so it's her turn to speak. And then she gets up there, and she's like, good morning, New York! Like, she's just trying to shout everybody down. She's like, I've known Eric Adams for 40 years! And she's just screaming, right? And he is completely... And then the mic starts going out. Completely... And he's not corrupt with it. Thank you. And then the dude went up there, and I don't really know what his position was. I don't know. He might have just been a black dude Eric Adams pulled that day, because this guy gets up there and he goes, good morning, New York. Good morning, New York. I've known Eric Adams for years, and he is, for 64 years, he has loved and served New York, and we cannot throw away 64 years over 5 indictments. He is 64. And I was like, where's the logic going here? You want that dude to be innocent because he's 64? Like, is that... There's no way he served 64. He just is alive for 64 years. But this dude was slick with it. He was like, do not throw away 64 years over 5 indictments. Nobody gonna kill him. Like, what are you talking about? Throwing away 64, we're not dating him. He got indicted. Do not throw away 64 years over 5 indictments. He is 64, thank you. I feel like that's all I do. The Eric Adams was like, probably should have let that be a tweet. And then it's Eric Adams' turn, right? And then counter-protesters are yelling. They're like, you're an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment to black people. You are an absolute embarrassment to the city, okay? You trying to make it a black thing. It's not a black thing. It's a you thing. You're corrupt. You're corrupt by yourself. It's not a black thing. It's a you thing, right? This dude's screaming. And he's like, what? Why is anything you're saying different from Trump? You're talking about you stand in the way. Stand in the way of what? You corrupt by yourself, right? And then Eric Adams like, and then he starts taking questions, right? And some of the questions were, you said that as soon as you stood up for New Yorkers, you would become a target. Who do you think you're a target of? Like Homeland Security, or what? There are government bodies that are serving you this indictment. Who do you think is targeting you, and why? And then he was like, that's a question for the federal government. And I was like, okay, not a great start. And then he goes, let me just get something clear right now. All right? And then the mic cuts out completely. It's like, I just want to say to y'all, that's all I gotta say. This is incredible, Incredible. I don't know. I would love to see Eric Adams go to Rikers. I mean, particularly because of the terrible job he's done with Rikers. Just so you know, Rikers is a horrific place. It's been compared to Guantanamo Bay. Mainly because most of the people in Rikers, around 85%, have not been convicted of a crime. They just cannot afford to get off Rikers. They can't afford to pay bail and stuff like that. But they sit there until the trial, and the trial is sometimes 8 months away, 9 months away. So they're potentially innocent people just sitting there, rotting in a jail in terrible conditions because they just didn't have money. Any one of us could not have money. Most of us don't have enough money for the things we would like. So that's how close we are to being them. You know? And it's so bad that there's a federal monitor that's like over Rikers. And Eric Adams has worked with Rikers to subvert everything that would have them comply with the federal monitor. Right? It's horrific. And all they've really done is like try to throw money and staffing at the problem, but then money and staffing have become the problem because now Rikers is such a cushy job that there are a lot of people who don't show up for work. So now they really are wasting money because they'll be understaffed on a day where everyone is scheduled and then everyone calls in sick. And then people die at Rikers. People die every year at Rikers. You know? It's absolutely insane. And the staffing, if I'm correct, maybe I'm wrong, right? But last time I looked it up, the staffing was like 2 to 1. No jail has 2 to 1. No jail anywhere has 2 to 1, you know? And so what a poetic thing it would be, you know, for the guy that a year ago gave the key to the city to Diddy. To also be like indicted and charged and sitting in Rikers. Rikers it'd be dope to see Eric Adams at Rikers. They just, he gets there and they're like, "What's up, buddy?" Let's talk. Oh. And so many people have resigned too. So many people have resigned from Eric Adams' administration that I don't know who works at New York anymore. It's a lot of people. People nobody was talking to, by the way. Like people who just are like, I'm just in charge of the library, but I'm gonna go because the block is hot. I don't want these problems.
Mira,